First story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not supporting my brother's wedding? We barely talk ever since he and his ex-wife, Dana, divorced 2 years ago. My wife and I sided with Dana because he'd left her for his mistress and didn't even try to fight for custody of my 2 nephews, 12 and 9. She's still like family to us, and we're more involved in her life than my brother's. He wasn't happy that we stopped inviting him to our home for get-togethers because we always invited Dana and the kids instead. There was a lot of family drama. My parents took his side over this, and we went low contact for a while. We only started seeing each other again a few months ago, but we aren't as close as we used to be. My brother has tried to talk to me more, but I'm only short and civil with him. It wasn't just the cheating that did it for me, it was also that he didn't care about being involved with his sons after they split. I heard he and the mistress are now engaged, and they plan to have the wedding sometime next year. To my surprise, my brother asked me if I could be his best man, since I did it before. He told me he understands we haven't been close in a while, but this is his wedding, and he wants us to get past everything and be brothers again. I asked him if his sons were also going to the wedding, and he was quiet for a few seconds before saying he hasn't talked to them in a long time. I didn't expect him to say yes, but I wanted to confirm for myself that he'd rather mend our relationship than the one he had with his kids. I told him he's my brother, and while I do love him, I will never support the treatment of his kids or this marriage when all it did was cause pain to 3 innocent parties we care about and love. My wife is on my side here, and I know there's no way I'll ever go. But it's hard to not feel like a jerk when my entire life, my family has ingrained that belief that loyalty to blood comes before everything, and we always support unconditionally. I know sometimes that's not a good way to think, and I've tried hard to detach myself from that belief. It's been harder now when my parents won't stop talking about it, and they can't believe after years, I still chose to hurt my brother when all he wants is happiness. Yes, they're a bunch of hypocrites, but still, I can't get them out of my head. And a part of me does feel like the bad guy for not being supportive during what's supposed to be the happiest day of his life. Basically, the entire family is looking at me like a traitor, just like they did when they divorced. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. It makes no sense to be best man at a marriage you don't support. And the whole thing about a blood relation being very important isn't true. Someone being blood related gives you no obligation to them if they're treated you or others horribly. As the saying goes, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Which doesn't even really matter since your nephews are blood related anyway, so just leaving them is gross. My uncle did this to his 2 daughters, and my cousins grew up just hating him and having severe emotional issues. My mom basically had your attitude about it. My favorite part of all this BS is them saying nonsense like loyalty to blood when the kids are literally blood related to them. And even if they weren't, they're still his kids. All the brother wants is happiness, but clearly no one but Opie and his wife gives a damn about the kids or their mother's happiness and well-being. Not the a-hole, of course. Not the a-hole. Loyalty to blood? You're being loyal to your blood, nephews, and their screwed over mother. I'm sorry for all involved that this has happened, but you have every right not to be there for your brother. Yep, agreed, not the a-hole. Brothers are blood, but his children aren't his blood? WTF? Good on you and your wife for supporting the kids, who are completely innocent. Except for when it comes to his own sons? Perhaps they should try a different angle on the guilt tactic. Not the a-hole. If you want to be involved in the wedding somehow to work towards mending things, offer perhaps to attend as a regular guest, or send a present if you don't want to go but still desire a gesture. Yes, that's where I point out the hypocrisy in their statement. But to them, it's that they're still supporting him unconditionally despite his own flaws. And no, I don't want to be involved in his wedding. Like I said, I don't support it, or his marriage. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not supporting my cousin's relationship? My younger cousin, 23 female, and I, 27 female, have been super close since she turned 16. We did most things together, and she even lived with me for a bit when she turned 18. It's been great, and I even see her as more of a little sister than a cousin. From ages 13 to 25, I dated and was engaged to Mark, 27 male. My cousin knew him well. When I turned 25, Mark and I had a serious discussion about marriage and children and ended up breaking up. He had lied to me our entire adult relationship about wanting marriage and kids. It killed me. My cousin was there for me the entire time. You can probably see where this is going. A month ago, my cousin announced she was pregnant and engaged. I was excited for her until I went over for a celebratory family cookout and met her newly moved in fiancé. Guess who it was? Yep, it was Mark. My world came crashing down and I just left. I didn't say anything. I just walked out. Family tried calling me. My cousin tried calling and texting me, but I didn't answer anyone. After about a week, I finally answered my cousin's call. She told me she needed me to be there for her, and she knew it was weird, but he was going to be family, and I should be happy for her. I told her I couldn't support any of this, and to please not contact me again. I now have family telling me what's done is done, and I need to get over it because cousin is getting married and having a baby. That I need to think of her, and that this is an exciting time for the family. I told everyone to F off, and if they support this, not to contact me again because family wouldn't do this to each other. They called me a witch and told me it's been 2 years, that no one owns a man, and I needed to shape up because this is happening. I blocked all of them. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Most definitely not the a-hole. What she did was terrible. She knew you all were together for all those years and broken up, and she still dated him. That's basically betraying you. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I'd bet it started before they broke up too. Went from girlfriend's cousin to baby mama really quick. And is nobody curious why these two were even in contact after the split? Especially if cousin was comforting OP. Honestly, the fact that they both knew about the relationship drama, got together so soon after your major breakup, and kept their relationship from you only to reveal it at a suitably dramatic moment in front of your entire family, makes me wonder if they didn't do this to you deliberately. If this is an exciting time for the family, how come you didn't hear a thing about your cousin's mysterious fiancé until she could spring this on you? Not the a-hole for going no contact after that. From what you say, it seems that Mark told you he didn't want children when you had been under the impression that he did? That is celebrating his impending fatherhood as soon after he ended a long-term relationship over exactly that issue makes me wonder if he was already interested in your cousin and was lying to you in order to break your relationship off. I'm just an internet speculator, so take that with a grain of salt, but I've heard of scenarios like that before. Not the a-hole. Your cousin can marry whom she likes, but you don't have to be there for it. I'm sure it's tough on your family too, but it's disappointing that they are all siding with her after you were in a relationship with this guy for 12 years, including engagement. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to show up to my, 22 male, dad's gay wedding? My parents were married for 27 years. My dad is 52 and my mom is 48. It was discovered about a year ago that my dad had been cheating on my mom for the last 4 years of their marriage with another man. My dad also had hooked up with numerous older men over the course of their marriage. My mom caught him in bed with his boyfriend. My dad said he was bi and they tried to work it through. It didn't work, as my dad was still sleeping with his now 24-year-old boyfriend on the side and admitted he was gay. When I found out, I cut my dad out of my life. Over the past year, I have let him back in. I love him, but I just can't get over what he did to my mom. He and his boyfriend have gotten engaged, and my dad wants me to be his best man. I can't bring myself to this. I feel like it'd be betrayal on some level. I told him this. He broke down. He apologized for what he did to me, my little sister, and my mom. He said that he didn't want to hurt anyone with his actions. He said that he told his parents about having feelings towards men when he was my age, and they flipped. They threw him out, trashed all of his belongings, and treated him like less than a person. That even his friends dropped him once it got out that he liked men. He said that he only felt like he had a normal life if he began dating and married a woman, and he did this with my mom. This story was heartbreaking, but I couldn't. I want to be empathetic, but I can't. He cheated on my mom for years and built a family with her knowing he wasn't into her. I told him I didn't care about all of that crap, and that I would never be his best man and wouldn't go to the wedding. After telling my dad this, I received a very angry call from his boyfriend telling me how I'm a monster and an awful son. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. If you take gender out of it, and your dad had a 24-year-old girlfriend that he cheated on your mom with, you'd still be justified in not wanting to be part of his wedding. Even the 24-year-old part would get me to not the a-hole without the cheating. Not the a-hole. You've mentioned nothing about him being gay being a part of your disdain. Sounds like you would have reacted exactly the same if it was a female he was cheating with. I feel like this is worse. The dad knew he wasn't into the mom from the beginning. He used her as a beard and effectively ruined her life. She could have gotten married to someone who actually loved her and not someone who used her to get accepted. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not wanting my sister to be my maid of honor at my wedding or godmother to my baby? 4 years ago, my sister Izzy was catfishing a guy, James, with my pictures. This only came to light as she has been asking him to move to our area and James had done it, so she had to come clean. James and I were both there for this confession, and neither of us spoke to Izzy for a while after. 6 months later, I saw James again. We got to talking and exchanged numbers. It was just friendly at first, but over time it grew into something more romantic. When we'd been together for about a year, we told Izzy, my brothers, and my divorced parents. Dad and brothers are happy I'm happy, but Izzy and Mom both flew off the handle. We've been together 3 years now. In this time, we have interacted mainly with Dad and brothers, and less so with Izzy and Mom. Izzy has had therapy and genuinely apologized to both of us, but the catfishing, plus her reaction to our relationship hasn't made a good relationship between all of us. James proposed early this year, and I accepted. We agreed on waiting to get married given everything going on, and then a month ago, we found out I'm pregnant. So the wedding is officially a solid 2 or 3 years away. Despite us telling Mom this, she's been calling me to talk about wedding ideas regularly. Mom called today, again, to talk about bridesmaids' dresses. During the conversation, she said that not only does she expect Izzy to be my maid of honor, but also godmother to the baby I'm carrying. Her reasons for this are that Izzy is my sister and planning on making me her maid of honor when she marries, and that Izzy is already godmother to my 8-year-old son. I expressed discomfort with both of those ideas, and Mom asked why. I told her that given everything with Izzy and James, I'm not sure this is the best idea. Mom then said that all of that was over 5 years ago. We said we'd forgiven her, and at some point, you have to let bygones be bygones, especially as we accepted her apology and she's gone to therapy. And if she hadn't gotten James to move here, then we never would have met at all, and the baby/marriage wouldn't be happening at all, and that she was ashamed of me for excluding my sister over the past. Izzy has since contacted me, agreeing with Mom that I'm being unnecessarily harsh and saying that she's apologized and it all worked out, and she's not sure what else she can do to get me to get over it. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Glad your sister is getting the help she clearly needs. Your mother is definitely the a-hole for trying to choose your bridesmaid and godmother for you, whether it is your sister or not. Even if you didn't have the history with your sister, it is always your choice. Not the a-hole, obviously. You don't even need a reason not to pick her as maid of honor. That is not a decision others can make for you, and not a decision you have to justify. Having said that, you have every reason not to want her as a maid of honor or godmother. They know full well why. I'm guessing the reason they are pressing this issue is that if they can force you into complying, they can feel like they've been absolved of their transgressions. My advice? Don't jade. Don't justify, argue, defend, or explain. Not the a-hole. Mom doesn't get a say in who will be maid of honor or godmother whatsoever. Izzy messed up royally and has to earn the trust she's so royally messed up to earn even an invite to the wedding. Considering how much Mom favors Izzy, might want to tell her if she doesn't change her tune, she and Izzy will not be invited. Your mom doesn't seem to care about boundaries whatsoever, and you have to make them abundantly clear. And that's the end of this video, folks. As always, leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. And if you want more of this content, turn your notification on to get updated on the latest videos. And I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.